schools are being considered for this?
Brian, what we're hearing is that they're looking at 20 to 30 schools to be used as migrant shelters for the summer. The one behind me, one of the potential schools that will be included in this. Now, this decision from City Hall that's not yet official, it comes after this spring, the reversal of the decision. At first, they were looking to put migrants in school gyms. That was taken off the table after there was extreme protests from parents that were demanding this not to happen. City Hall put the pause on that, but they did say that this option would still remain viable, and now it seems that the option is being heavily considered. When we asked City Hall if migrants would be housed in schools, their response said, quote, "As Mayor Adams has said repeatedly, we have more than 51,800 asylum seekers in our care and have reached capacity. While this option is not ideal, none are, and we are in no position to take anything off the table." Now, at the same time, the city is considering hiring additional private security at the existing shelters. City Hall telling us all sites have security on premise, but that, quote, "We are always exploring best options to keep those in shelter as well as the entire community safe." But Teamsters Local 237, which represents peace officers used at New York City public schools, they say the job of security at these facilities is too dangerous even for their officers.
There are some gang members that were in the MS-13 that were in the shelters at the beginning of this migrant crisis. People weren't vetted properly. And some of our peace officers had gotten into altercations with those gang members.
So since last spring, over 84,000 migrants have made their way through New York City. At current count, with the amount of migrants that are here and the resources that are being provided, this is costing New York City taxpayers around $8 million each and every day. And as you see behind me, this middle school could soon be the newest migrant shelter. Send it back to you guys.
MS-13 gang members and school gyms. Brilliant. Thank you, Madison, for that report. We appreciate it.
And a great setup to a similar conversation that we want to have next. San Diego businesses want $2.5 million from the city due to the homelessness issues. Joining us now is the attorney for those businesses behind the claims, Craig Combs. Craig, read through.
Send it back to you guys.
MS-13 gang members and school gyms. Brilliant. Thank you, Madison, for that report. We appreciate it.
And a great setup to a similar conversation that we want to have next. San Diego businesses want $2.5 million from the city due to the homelessness issues. Joining us now is the attorney for those businesses behind the claims, Craig Combs. Craig, read through some of the documents and the claims that you sent over. You talk about a loss of rental income, loss of business income, drop in property values. Realistically, though, how do you plan to fight this?
Well, bringing this claim is the first step before you can file a lawsuit against a municipality in California. So what we've alleged here is that the city has created, permitted, and encouraged public nuisances in the public right-of-way on the streets and sidewalks, and that those public nuisances over the past 3 years have caused considerable damage to my clients. Now, it's important to note, they don't want the money. They want the city to clean up the streets and the sidewalks in front of their homes and businesses.
And Craig, that's exactly what I was going to ask you about. The messaging here is so important. It's these businesses trying to plead with the city to make things better, but in San Diego and also other places in California, this has been going on for years. It's an ideology there that's coming from the top down, the leadership. And so I wonder if you think that this, in some ways, will fall on deaf ears.
No, I don't think it will, because you're right. They have pled with the city for years. They've called the police. They've lobbied the mayor's office. There's an app that the city released where you can report violations of public decency laws, but nothing's happened. But now the city is going to be forced to respond because we filed a claim, and if it's not resolved, we'll take it to court just like they did in Phoenix.
Craig, you make a very important and simple point, which is in a city like San Diego, they tax the productive sectors, the businesses, and they subsidize the lawlessness. It's that simple. That's basic economics. And if you do that, you will always get what you're seeing in San Diego right now.
That's correct. And it's an ideology. It doesn't matter what your politics are. If you subsidize something, you get more of it. If you tax something, you get less of it. Liberal cities like San Diego, they subsidize the unproductive people. And let's be clear. Many of these are unfortunate situations where people are down on their luck, but a lot of these people are simply criminal vagrants, and they violate the laws with impunity. And then the irony of it is that here you have the productive people working in their offices, and they're looking right across the street at the people that they're subsidizing, who are urinating and defecating and doing drugs right in front of their homes and businesses. And they can't even take their dogs outside for a walk. They have to carry their dogs to their car and drive it somewhere else because there's so many needles and it's so unsanitary in front of their homes and businesses.
Well, the images in the claim that you filed certainly speak to that, and don't even do justice, I think, as well to some of the words. So we really appreciate you. Thank you, Craig, so much for joining us. We also do want to mention that we did reach out to the city of San Diego for comment. We have not yet heard back. But Jackie, it is basic economics. You tax what you don't want, you subsidize what you want more of, and it is very clear that they are subsidizing what they want more of.
I suspect we won't hear back from the city, I'm guessing. All right, the rich and famous not immune from the crime crisis. More than $1 million in cash